from various parts of the country. At the outset, I would like to thank CMDR and CES for inviting me to share some of my thoughts on this very, very important event. First of all, my heartiest congratulations to both CMDR and CES for bringing this wonderful event and create a lot of thought-provoking thinking on reflecting our last 10 years of what we achieved and way forward. First of all, my designation, sorry, it has to be corrected. I am not the current executive advisor to Toyota, Kirloskar, Moto. I was the past executive advisor. I was the president and whole-time director of Toyota Industries Engineers. Then I became the executive advisor after my superannuation to Toyota, Kirloskar, Moto. Then I was continuing as senior executive advisor to Toyota Industries. Currently, I don't have any kind of official roles with Toyota, but I'm trying to work on more on manufacturing and academia and connecting industries and academia for a common purpose. I'm also very active in academia, also the chairman of Student Outcome Committee for the NAC in rolling out the maturity-based graded framework for the country, and also working in the Apex and Core Committee of NAC. So when I look at the manufacturing, I thought I will just pen picture the big picture, what is happening now. See, today, when you look at India, many years back, whenever I used to travel abroad, people always used to ask me, what is the future of India? Now everybody says India is the future. That's a huge changing point. And be it two-wheelers or three-wheelers, I think two-wheelers, we are the top country in the world. Maximum number of two-wheelers. Even the EV two-wheeler population has increased tremendously. And cars, already we have surpassed Japan last year. We just clocked more than 4 million cars, 4.25 I think. We just crossed Japan's number. And one of the fastest growing economies, I think that is the incredible India. And thanks to COVID, I think we have accelerated at least by 10-15 years on the digital economy. I think the RuPay, 1 rupee payment which is possible, that is creating wonders for all our friends who participated in the G20 meet. How it is possible? 1 rupee payment by RuPay. I think that is the beauty, and most of us have forgotten the purses today. Purse is not a normal usage commodity. I think that is the beauty. And the startup system, ecosystem is flourishing very well. Of course, we have a long way to go, but I think a lot of good things are happening. So starting from 2014, when I look back the last 10 years, series of progressions happened. Starting from Make in India on 14 important sectors, Digital India, Youth India, Startup India, and then we had a series of PLI schemes to the tune of 1,98,000 crores, which really ignited the manufacturing economy to a newer destination. And we have now Viksit Bharat and Atmanirbhar, self-reliant India towards Amritkal journey of 2047 has gained momentum. And when I look at the future of manufacturing, today the GDP of Indian manufacturing stands at 17% of the total GDP. This number we see crossing 30% or so in the next decade. Once that transition happens, today we have around 6.8 crores MSMEs in the country. And this number is likely to reach 13 to 14 crores of MSMEs. It's a huge growth. And MSMEs are going to drive the foundation of the country. Today they are contributing to 30-40% of the growth in terms of GDP from directly and indirectly. And they are going to be the growth engines of this country. I was in Osaka last week for a couple of days representing the Bangalore chambers at the invitation of the Osaka city government. I was very surprised to see in the Osaka region, which is a part of Kansai prefecture, amazed to see 95-97% is all driven by MSMEs. And this prefecture is contributing to $1.1 trillion economy. Almost 1/3 of the country's economy, Indian economy, coming from a small area. Japan itself is 1/10 of India. And Osaka and Kansai prefecture is one portion, very small portion. But that is contributing to 1.1 trillion economy, dollars. I think I realized there is a huge potential for Indian companies to grow. And this is the golden age. Therefore, once this transition happens on this GDP, manufacturing GDP, most of the global economies, China, Japan, many parts of Western Europe, they clock 20-25% of GDP. India stands at 17%. So this transformation is going to bring a radical change. And whether we like it or not, India is not only going to be the huge manufacturing market for a captive India, but it is going to be the manufacturing hub of the world. Thanks to one more China plus, geopolitical crisis, and a huge demographic dividend, what the earlier speakers talked today morning. This is going to drive the manufacturing to a newer destination. And today, India is dominated by 60% service market. But the equation is going to change. Normally, when countries age, they migrate from manufacturing to service. But India is going to have a reverse process. We are going from service to manufacturing. With younger population at the age of 28, 29 years, this is going to be the real Amrit Kaal for the country. And the Indian brains, all of us know, be it in Google or any part of the world, I think our engineers are wonderful. The biggest advantage of our engineers are they are very adaptable, very flexible, very culturally oriented, and they pick up learning very fast. Even when I was in Japan, I could see a lot of Indians speaking Japanese. Indian students learn Japanese very fast. And there is a huge aging population in Japan. So I was suggesting that a lot of Indian people can be trained on Japanese language, culture, and we can export a huge engineers to Japan to support the growing economy. I think many things are possible. Therefore, that is why I said it is a great Amrit Kaal journey, golden age of the country in terms of manufacturing. But having said that, our journey has a lot of challenges. Today, when I look at the futuristic, I think Gen AI is changing the complete world. Every day things are becoming obsolete. Even in the education sector, it is a real challenge for professors, faculty members. And today, just a click of the button, you are able to get the whole world. I think I am wondering what is going to be the e-learning process. You ask ChatGPT, please teach me E is equal to MC square. It tells you what is E is equal to MC square. You tell, I am not a professor, I am only a 4th standard student. Please teach me E is equal to MC square. Then it will tell you like a 4th standard student what is E is equal to MC square. I think millions of combinations are possible. And I think with this kind of growth of Gen AI, I think there is a huge hopping from where we stand. So we are able to see the new skies. So far we were ignorant. I think I always talk about the 4th quadrant of Johari window. There are 4 quadrants. The first quadrant says I know, that is self-confidence. Second quadrant, I know that I don't know, that is humility. Third quadrant, I don't know that I know, that is latent talent. And 4th quadrant, I don't know that I don't know, that is ignorance. I think the ChatGPT is opening out the 3rd and 4th quadrant. I think especially the phase of ignorance, It is showing us a new world, new horizon, new skies. That is why many people are worried we are going to lose the job because of ChatGPT, Gen AI. Actually, people may lose the job not because of Gen AI, because of not knowing Gen AI. I think that is a very important point. It is like Lord Vinayaga circling one round and taking the sacred fruit. Gen AI, I feel that is a kind of a very powerful tool. We cannot be conversant with all technologies, but being conversant with such kind of a tools, which is very powerful. That is why for in academia and research, I am suggesting, I think we should roll out Gen AI very, very fast. In a short 2-3 days workshop, it can create 40-50% improvement in productivity levels. Therefore, I urge academia to come out with this kind of a Gen AI faculty development program, which is going to really be the game changer. So, when I look at the future skill sets, I could see 14 important areas of manufacturing, which is going to change the phase of manufacturing. First of all, the manufacturing we should understand, it is going to become holistic and integrated. It is not going to be in silos. No more it is a brick and mortar manufacturing. So, all the technologies, be it IoT, machine learning, artificial intelligence, cyber security, big data, they are all going to get integrated to form a new paradigm in manufacturing. So, when I look at those skill sets, what we need in the next decade to manage this change, starting with IoT, machine learning and artificial intelligence, cyber security, genomics, drones engineering, robotics and automation, AR, VR, augmented reality and virtual reality, and digital twins, nanotechnologies. Then we have the e-learning, shared services, which is going to be the order of the day. The Gen Y, they are no more interested in owning big assets. Shared services. Today the autonomous vehicles are also becoming very popular. Autonomous vehicles, I was traveling in Sunnyvale. It is like feeling that I am traveling in a brigade road. The traffic has no big reason. I think it's all sensors all over the body. I think we are able to navigate. I think that technology is going to be a reality. In fact, today it has become a commercial fleet in many parts of the world. In Tokyo also it has recently started. And big data, which is again driving the change. Then the digital blockchain, which is another very important thing. And lastly, the 3D printing or the additive manufacturing. I call it as additive manufacturing. You get addicted to that. Recently, a post office was printed in Bengaluru in less than 2 months by Larsen and Toubro at a cost of less than 8 lakhs. Many houses are printed in China. So look at the kind of growth of technology. And you can do the 3D printing sitting in remote locations. In fact, in one of the factories in Sony, I was told operated by 2 people. One is a human being and the other is a dog. The purpose of human is to feed the dog, and the purpose of the dog is to ensure nobody enters the factory. So these kind of autonomous factories are going to be the order of the day. See, one side we have increasing labor cost. India is no more a cheap labor. Now we are competing with Indonesia, Thailand, China, Taiwan and many parts of Asia. But labor cost is also increasing because of the inflation. Therefore, I think it's very important to balance the automation, low cost automation, then progressive automation, then full-fledged automation, like what is happening in many parts of Europe and Japan. I think this is going to be the natural transition. Therefore, these technologies are also going to play a very important role. So, how do we develop our youth on these new skill sets? That is going to be the major challenge. So, it's very, very important that a very close collaboration between academia, research and corporates for a common purpose. Center of excellence should be created across the nation in various regional hubs. There should be hub and spoke model for many companies to learn from this center of excellence where they cannot afford to. And there should be a transition of human exchange between industry and academia. I think this is quite weak in our country, unfortunately. Whenever I visit US, I see in Berkeley, Stanford, I see a lot of professors working very actively in the industry. In fact, Berkeley, a lot of Nobel laureates working there. I think that kind of industry connect, unfortunately, has not picked up in our country. We have been talking for quite some time. Therefore, it is the responsibility of both the corporate and academia and also government to collaborate to make this happen, because today the research spent on this new manufacturing technology is very, very minimal. So we need to really spend a lot of time and money on research, take it to the industry on the new technologies and make it commercially viable through the startup ecosystem, through a lot of mentoring and entrepreneurship programs. Therefore, this is very important. And secondly, the most important thing is human development. We don't have the capable people to manage the new transition. Today, when I look at the MSMEs, most of the people are all 70, 80, the first generation. They're all retiring. Their children, unfortunately, are in Europe or in many parts of US. Nobody to take up these jobs. When COVID came, all of a sudden, this was a big shock. And many companies had to close down, not just because of financial problems, but because of also takeover challenges. And I think it's very, very important. I urge the academia also to come out very actively in a program on MSME, management education, where the students can be trained on the management of MSMEs on 4 important areas. The manufacturing management, which is very weak. Then the human resource development. There is no formal human resource development systems in the MSMEs. Be it the recruitment system, learning and development system, or a payout system, promotion system. All these things are super important for the human development. Then financial management. Back to basics of what Dr. Vishal talked today morning. I think how do we grow new markets, new investments, new loan terms, profitable business, how to convert a sick company into a profitable company. All those things. In fact, yesterday I was listening to Professor Charan Singh. He shared the experience of how we turned around the Sindh Punjab Bank, which was running into losses, into a very, very profitable bank, and reached the highest profitability in the year 2024. Great story to share. I think how do we teach this to the academia? And academia should teach this to the students, and they should be able to take up these MSMEs, and these people can afford to pay a little higher salary also. So they also get attraction to manage this kind of businesses for the future. So this is my suggestion to the academia. So this is the human resource development is another very, very important thing. Even I urge quality circles. This is very weak in this country, though we have been talking in bits and pieces. I was the former chairman of Quality Circle Forum of Karnataka. I put a logo many years back, 1 + 1 is greater than 2. Which means 2 minds put together, the output is much, much greater. I think the synergy of putting 2 people. Many times I jovially say 1 + 1 is -1. 2 people are put, they fight each other, and we don't get the output. I think this is what I learned from Japanese. We used to sit in the meeting for 8-9 hours, continuous meetings, fight, argue healthily. Once we come out of the meeting, the action goes like a bullet train. 80% of the time is spent on discussion, planning, and 20% in execution. Many times we agree in no time, rest of the life we keep fighting. I think many projects we see struggling for timelines. I think this is another great challenge that we should look at. So the second aspect, what I was looking at is human development is very, very important for manufacturing. So this is a great thing that has to happen. Thirdly, I think, of course, it is also the first thing, infrastructure. Today, the infrastructure in the country, the biggest challenge for our competitiveness. Logistics infrastructure competitiveness is very low. I think the supply chain is very, very complicated. Some of the products are going through multiple supply chains, manufactured in Bengaluru, sourced from Delhi or Haryana, then reprocessed in Chennai, then again going to Pune, then again coming back to Coimbatore, then finally the product is coming to Bengaluru. You can imagine these kind of complexities. This is a very simple supply chain, what I said. Some supply chains are very complicated, even 14, 15, 20 steps. Therefore, the integration of supply chain, I think, is very, very important for manufacturing competitiveness. The supply chain cannot stand in silos. It is now fragmented. This fragmented supply chain is our biggest enemy. Therefore, how do we integrate this supply chain for a bigger purpose? This is possible through the digital infrastructure. Today, the purchase orders can be seamless. It can be integrated across the country, and the lead times can be saved. Therefore, this will also reduce the inventory in the pipeline. So this will bring a huge synergy and reduce obsolescence, and time to delivery is much faster. Setup times also get reduced. So it's a chain reaction. Therefore, the supply chain integration is very key through digital infrastructure. So we should look on that. So I was just talking about quality circles. I just tracked off. So quality circle, many people mistake quality circle. Can anybody tell me what is the purpose of quality circles? Two answers. One from the ladies. Ladies first. Please, madam. Any answer? What is the purpose of a quality circle? Is it a rocket technology? Any other answers? Excellent. Very good. Very good. Continuous improvement. Excellent. So what is the final purpose? Huh? Profit? What is the final goal of the quality circle? Pardon? So what? Improvement, so what? What is the final expected outcome? I will put it in academia language. What is the program outcome? Okay, so what? Okay. I think profit, quality, customer satisfaction, many answers. See, actually speaking, the real purpose of quality circle is human development. The profit or quality are all secondary outcomes. Because Swami Vivekananda said, give me one person who is pure, I will change the rest of the world. I think, how do we develop those kind of human development? I think quality circle, in fact, I was listening to President Watanabe-san, former president of Toyota Motor Corporation, in one of the quality circles in Nagoya. He said through quality circle you can learn 5 works. The first work he said is footwork. Footwork is not cricket. Footwork is going to the point of action where the problem happens. Understanding using all your 5 senses. That is footwork. I think in Tamil there is a Tirukkural. I think somebody also quoted in the morning. Epporul yar yar vai ketpinum apporul meipporul kanbade aridu. It's a great verse. What he says, whatever you listen from anybody, anytime, it is the most important thing to find the depth of truth in what is being said. Very, very powerful. In fact, Toyota also, this is our fundamental DNA. We say Genji Genbutsu. Going to the point of action where the problem occurs and using all your 5 senses, understand the problem by yourself. So this is the first work, footwork. Second work is teamwork. Quality circle promotes teamwork. Some 4 or 5 people work for a common purpose. You learn from each other. You appreciate the good qualities of other person. So this is a learning process. You also say, how do we improve yourself? We see a lot of potential improvement points. So this is the second work. Third work is head work. We may have to do 100 things at a time, but what is the most important? Prioritized problem solving. What is the prioritized issue I should focus? So head work. Fourth is network. By working in quality circles, you are able to work with people, teams, benchmark, see new dimensions. So this is the network. And finally the fifth work is hard work. Through quality circles you achieve something, the sense of satisfaction is very high. So you put in hard work. That is an enjoyable hard work. As for Dr. Kalamji said, if you have to shine like a sun, you have to burn like a sun. So that is a very enjoyable hard work. All these 5 works you learn. Finally the 6th work I realized, it is homework. When you do a quality circle, there is always a food for the thought. What went well better and how can I make it better tomorrow? So it's a PDCA, continuous. Many times I jovially say PDCA means, what is PDCA? I always jovially say, please do not change anything. Nothing rotates. So, which means we are not rotating the PDCA. Therefore, I think all these things are very, very important for manufacturing competitiveness. Japan today, the quality circle momentum is amazing. India, unfortunately, in fact, we are also trying to drive it in education, in academia. In fact, we have also suggested to introduce quality circles, because unbelievable results can be achieved. The professors and students and the administrative staff can work for a common purpose. In fact, I try to introduce some of the quality circles in NIE, Mysore and Christ College. I think we need to gather that momentum, and I think academia can play a very important role so that these students practice quality circles and they get ready for employment. So industry can adopt them very easily and happily. I think we can, in fact, TVS Motor, they have achieved close to 100 plus crores just by quality circles. You can see the kind of power of quality circles. Therefore, this is another important movement that we should take it in the country. So, this kind of activities are very important. And one more important thing I wanted to bring it to the academia. See, it's very important to create a big picture. See, today the critical thinking is lacking in the country. I think academia should play a very, very important role. We spend billions of dollars on poverty, penury, illiteracy, ignorance, epidemics, diseases. But are we going to the root of the problem? I think this is a big challenge. What I mean is a big picture. You see Earth from a horizontal distance. Somebody said Earth is rectangular or square or round in shape, circular in shape. You look at Earth from 1,000, 2,000 kilometers above the sea level. You should be able to see a beautiful blue ball. You should be able to put it in your pocket. I think that kind of a picture, I think every academician should drive it to the student. And this kind of a critical thinking is very important. I recollect one of my experience in Toyota, where I did an executive development program, which is for 1 year almost. The program itself was very simple. All I had to do was choose a problem around the workplace and make a A3 report and finally present it to the management. Any simple problem. I remember I had 3 presentations in our Bangkok office and 2 presentations in my Japan headquarters. And I had 48 revisions of that A3 paper with my managing director, Mr. Isashi Suzuki, several years back. If you ask me, have I completed my A3 report? I don't think so. It is very easy to make a 1,000-page report. Today, thanks to ChatGPT, even 2,000 is possible. But the same 1,000-page report, if you have to make it in 100 pages, it is all the more difficult. You have to churn your brain many times. Same 100-page, if you have to bring it in one single A3 paper, that is where the human development happens. You have to churn your brain hundreds of times. We may have to do thousands of things at a time. But what is the most important thing I should focus today? That is the power of this A3. I think that kind of a clarity, I think if you're able to drive that, see today the biggest challenge is people are all confused. They're hallucinated. They want to do many things, putting hands on several things, but the focus is not, depth is not coming. Whenever I meet my Japanese friends, I could see the depth. They are so focused, the eyes are extremely focused. Maybe some cultural reason also is there. India, I always say our ears are very strong because of many languages. We know what is happening in the next door. but our eyes are very weak. We don't look for the details, chalta attitude. The Japanese, because of the kanji, the Japanese language consists of hiragana, katakana and kanji. While hiragana and katakana is very simple like alphabets, kanji is very pictorial. In the process of reading and learning kanji, there are even 40 stroke kanji you have to write in the same sequence. Otherwise computer also cannot recognize. Therefore the eyes are extremely sharp. Because of one language, the ears are extremely weak. They cannot pick up languages. So this cultural difference also I could see. Therefore this big picture, I think how do we drive in academia is very, very important. So these are all the areas I wanted to touch upon. Of course, there are multitude of other things. In fact, quality is my very favorite topic. I think, I don't know, madam has to tell me when I should stop so that I can accordingly. Another 10 minutes? 5 minutes, okay. I will, so quality foundation. See, today the biggest mindset for us is quality foundation. So I will just talk about 10 commandments of quality, very, very quickly run through. The first quality commandment is, please treat rejections as treasure. When rejections happen, it is the greatest opportunity for improvement. Failure is a stepping stone for success. I don't want to expand, I will stop it here. Second is thoroughly benchmark. Don't think that what you do is the best. Open the window, you can see multitude of new opportunities. Learn from others, benchmark, then set a new target, then improve. Then you rotate the PDCA, go to the next step. Third is to stop the line. Always we are focused on quantity, not on quality. Quantity without quality is like a flower without fragrance. There is no use. Therefore, if there is a problem, we should stop the line immediately. Then the fourth commandment, please don't change the process condition, because process condition affects safety and quality. So before changing a process condition, you should do a thorough analysis. Fifth commandment of quality, inspection is not checking. The inspection, purpose of inspection is to give feedback to the earlier process. Inspection is the biggest waste. It's a muda in Japanese. So the purpose of inspection is checking, give feedback to the earlier process. Sixth commandment of quality, please take countermeasures for processes which break down very frequently. You should put, whichever is a difficult process where even a lot of problems happen, I think we will be always allergic to touch that process. So I think that is where the top management support is required, drive is required to push and make that process thorough. Therefore, this is very, very important. That is where the chronic problems, many times we don't solve them. And the seventh commandment of quality is, please do change point management for stable processes, where statistical process capability is very good, more than 1.33, 1.67 mission capability. Any change point affects safety and quality. What is change point management? In an organization, in a factory, man, machine, methods, process, management, they change continuously. I think it's very, very important to monitor them very closely. And before you make any change point, it's very important to observe them closely. Then make a change point. Then the eighth commandment of quality, don't do miserika and do real mierika. Both are Japanese words. Miserika is to show off. Typically I say ISO. ISO audit, Jovial I also say NAC audit in academic parlance. So when the auditor comes, everything is so beautiful. Auditor goes, the mountain is back. Jovially I say ISO means I stay in the office on the previous day of the audit. Auditor goes, again the scrap is back. So I think the whole idea of visualization, make things naked, the problem jumps. The first and foremost thing what I see in all the Japanese companies is visualization. By visualization, you become very honest. Then people will participate. Oh, this is the problem. Not understanding the problem is the biggest problem. Covering the problem is the biggest problem. That is our biggest problem. Therefore, make things naked. People participate. Then there is a thorough introspection. There is a problem solving process. There is a brainstorming process. Then people go to the root cause of the problem. Then we put occurrence countermeasure. I think that is where the huge breakthrough happens. Then the 9th commandment of quality, please set a challenging target. We are very happy in telling I have achieved 70%, 80%, chalta hai. I think the eye for excellence is very, very important. That is where the quality foundation happens. In fact, I recollect reading the biography of Steve Jobs. People are asking, we never see you talking to the customer. How did you invent this great product, iPad, which really changed the world, eliminated the world? Steve Jobs said, normally customers expect and organizations support. And normally organizations think 1 or 2 levels above what the customer expects. In Apple, we go 4 or 5 levels above what a customer can imagine. And he calls it as epiphany. Epiphany is the cloud busting of ideas. That's where the creativity and innovation blossoms. Once you reach those skies, you are the master. There is no competition for you. Invariably, even after 2 decades, Apple has been the master. iPads have stood the test of time. I think that is where, in fact, I was very, very surprised when I was there. Invariably, every 5th day in Apple is a free day. People can do whatever you want to do. And 80% of their innovations have come in the 20% of the time. So when you remove all the frills, the knowledge starts flowing. I was listening to Swami Sagubodhananda. He said an experiencer should experience an experience without an experiencer. Can you understand? For example, you watch a movie. Watching the movie is an experience, and you are the experiencer. Before watching the movie, somebody has told you the movie is useless. Already you have lost the experience. Your mind is already shut. Therefore, how do you develop that open mind where the knowledge is free? I think that is what is very, very important. And last commandment, please develop professional men of quality. I quoted Swami Vivekananda. Please, I will change. Please give me one person who is pure, I will change the rest of the world, he said. I think it's very, very important, not the number, but the quality. One person, you make him a thorough professor, thorough academician. He really means what he does. He is able to implement the change. He is able to drive. I think that person will be in the pyramid. He will be able to drive that huge change down the line. I think all of us should spend our time on that kind of human development, which is very, very important for creating a solid quality foundation in this country. And finally, the change has to come from within. Don't expect, my institution will bring the change, my government will bring the change, my country will bring the change. I think all of us have to start the change from ourselves. Likely said by Dr. Abdul Kalam, I finished my speech quoting his words, where there is virtuousness in our hearts, there is beauty in the character. When there is beauty in the character, there is harmony at home. When there is harmony at home, there is order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. Thank you. God bless. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for briefing us about the importance of application and integration. As you say that you are working with industry, connecting industry and academia, and also briefing us about the challenges that the generative AI is going to bring, and how do the entrepreneurs as well as the economy will cope up with the challenges like COVID in the future. Thank you so much, sir.